Good afternoon, morning, evening, or night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of the Jar Media Podcast. This is the blue episode. We are blue, dabba-dee-dabba-die.
We're, as Jim pointed out right before we started recording, we have a blue Mad Max Fury Road kind of tinge right now.
Yeah, nighttime Mad Max.
And blue is the jar colour.
Yeah, this is not the correct grade of blue. We need to be lighter.
Excuse me?
I'm Jamie.
Today we are joined by Alex and myself. Hello.
No, Jim. Oh, okay, I see the beef continuing then.
Beef?
Yeah.
Nah, we are brisket, brother.
What?
We are brisket, not beef.
Oh, I see.
Which brisket are we continuing?
The only brisket that matters. Yours.
Before we get too deep into the show, let me shout out the Jar Media Patreon that make the audio version possible and get their names read out at in the first week of each month. So if you're a Sandy tier or above.
And you also get access to early videos, which we haven't made live on YouTube yet.
Yeah, occasional early videos. There's like a Apex Legends one that's up on Patreon now.
We haven't made on YouTube yet because we're dripping. We are dripping with drip.
We're dripping beef. We're dripping
brisket juices.
So
before we get too deep into the show, can we just talk about the beef that you just mentioned? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
The brisket or the beef?
The brisket.
Well, you just said the beef is continuing.
Oh.
Don't tell him, Alex. Don't tell him.
Okay.
No, do tell him.
No,
I don't know who you're on about.
I don't think I'm going to tell him.
Why are you thinking you're not going to tell him?
Because this is one of those, when you plant the seed and then give it a little bit of water and then the seed sprouts and then grows.
Well,
got to be patient.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do some housekeeping. Let's clean some shit up around this bloody place. The Joker baby's going to start us off. Surprise that there was no mention of the 2001 Chevy Tahoe? How do you say it? Tahoe. During the Halo TV show conversation. Did you see this, James?
There's something to do with a Chevy Tahoe.
Yeah, I think it's in that. I don't know if you've seen. Yeah, you've seen the trailer, right? There's like a scene where Master Chief's like fighting a couple of elites, I think, and in the background there's like a fucking
There's a Chevy Tahoe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cringe.
Pretty funny. Is it as bad as the Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones? That one's pretty funny.
Is it an accident that there's a Chevy Tahoe?
It must be.
It's quite unusual because everything's like off-world in Halo. So it's like another planet. So the implication is they've taken a fucking 2001 Chevy in like 2500 to like a different planet, I guess. Unless it was on Earth, I don't know. I just simply don't know, right?
But even then, in Halo, like every car you see is like a weird...
Yeah, it's a future car. It's not like a Chevy. Blandscape has a little comment. I now believe that since outpacing Joe Rogan, Alex has passed on to a higher plane of existence from where he intermittently communes with James and Beast via the medium of Weekly Jar. That's what the people outside of the channel don't understand, is that I'm not real.
Yeah.
I just kind of appear once a week just for this show, and then I'm gone.
Well, yeah, you never have been real.
Yeah.
That's why you were off camera for so long, because the deepfake technology just wasn't there.
We weren't able to hire someone to deepfake you onto. Like,
your coding knowledge was only base level back then, while I was off screen, and you've developed it to a point now where it can the algorithm can manifest in the video.
Yeah, the reason your voice is different from mine is because you're an AI generated voice.
Based on your voice.
Based on my voice, which is why you sound like a weird Luke version of me.
And your hair in that episode, I kind of fucked up the coding in that episode.
Yeah, people notice the old glitch going on with my coding or whatever. Fair enough.
It's not hard to make a millionaire YouTuber personality. You just write some code, you know?
Easy.
Jack Diamond has a really good roleplay, actually. You hear that, James?
Oh, no. We're not... No, the roleplay era is over, okay? Listen to me. Don't listen to anyone else. The roleplay era has ended. It kind of worked in the crackhead shit jar era. Not anymore. We're mature and we're adults and we don't roleplay.
So you're saying maturees can't roleplay?
No, they can't.
I've seen many mature role plays in my
Have you
time.
seen Joker?
This is why we can't anymore. Joker happened and that crossed the line.
He's roleplay. Joaquin Phoenix is roleplaying the Joker, and he's doing a damn fine job.
And that's why we can't do it anymore.
Because,
I'm banning.
because
No,
Joker's already been done.
Yes,
Yeah,
We
you just can't top Joker.
we can't let another Joker happen.
What's the role play though?
No, we're not going into it. 'Cause I
Roleplay.
banned
Alex
them.
is reading a comment and says roleplay, except Jamie is Jordan and James is Jim, and they both react to Alex reading the roleplay comment. Go.
Okay.
So Jim, you're James. James, you're Jim. Roleplay. Alex is reading a comment and says roleplay.
You see, what I was gonna do was whip out my phone and just look at it, but
I don't do that anymore. You're role playing a James that doesn't exist anymore.
No, the roleplay thing was killed with that prediction. Do you remember that comment from like fucking years ago? It was like roleplay. James is gonna do this basically, and then he did it.
Yeah. It was just like, oh, for fuck's sake, no another role player. It was like what I said every time there was a role play.
Yeah,
And I've just banned them.
I don't know what episode that would be, but
Couldn't
I
you?
was in the subreddit, and there would just be some chud that shows up and is like, "Oh, that was in episode 72."
At 10 minutes 40 seconds.
No, I like that. I appreciate that.
We do, but don't give us more role
But
plays.
yeah, it's weird to know that there are people that know the things I've said better than I do. Because once I've like recorded an episode, that shit's gone.
Yeah, I don't remember anything I say.
Yeah.
well, we took our own advice quite seriously. Live like a dog.
Yeah.
My advice.
Mhm.
Yeah, we took my advice quite seriously.
So yeah, we have no
Oh, is this the
long-term memory
beef?
really anymore. Ooh.
See,
gotta
that,
go
like
into-
if you forget everything you say, it's like deals and bets don't mean anything because it's jar, and you just as soon as you leave the room, bets are off. They're
I'm glad
cancelled.
you mentioned that because it's still not over. But the main housekeeping thing was this food poisoning, intentional food poisoning topic, which just got people got people thinking. Really, the basic premise was that there was someone at work was having their lunch stolen every day, or whatever, regularly enough for it to be something he was bothered by. So he intentionally poisoned this lunch to try and find the culprit, or at least make them pay for what they've done for stealing his nutrients. We got lots of interesting feedback on this. LG Grail said, "I've had meat that was literally hours out of date and got food poisoning. To be fair, it was mice beef, but still."
Mice beef? Is this the beef? Yeah, don't eat mouse.
Mice beef.
BEAF. I don't know what.
Wait,
Like,
mice BEAF.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be mince beef.
no, but why would he still spell it BEAF? Like, either way, it's like.
To be honest, I understood it, so stop whipping apart this Jarling's
No,
sentence, okay?
No,
You're being
no, I'm not ripping
No,
it
it's
apart,
funny.
'cause-
Mice beef is funny.
Yeah. Right. But there was a main post on the Jar Media subreddit, actually, on the intentional food poisoning topic. The guy who made the sandwich was in the wrong. We first have the legal aspect, and if he pleaded guilty to the claim that he intentionally used bad meat, I doubt he would come out unscathed if the other person somehow ended up dead. Morally, even a slim possibility of death or other severe side effects makes it immoral by default when done deliberately. If I sent a video that is potentially seizure-inducing to someone to shock them, then if they have a seizure, that would be on me. Or for a more direct analogy, it would be wrong to push someone off a small cliff as payback if there is a chance they break their neck. At the most generous interpretation, the action taken by this friend is highly irresponsible, but knowingly putting someone at the level of severe risk isn't acceptable for payback on an offence as small as taking lunch. We also lack information on the person stealing, and from the sounds of it, the poster lacks this information too. For all we know, they're struggling to make it by, and their only option is to steal food from others. That doesn't make it correct to take the food from a co-worker, but you can't attach so much selfish intent anymore. As a few have pointed out, the analogies used here are flawed, so take them as you will, but I still stand by the arguments made, and to anyone else who has these sorts of dilemmas, share them so we can get more of these discussions on the cast.
Well, this is the thing. This is why you don't poison the food. You just fill it with laxatives. Because it's like, if they shit themselves, they've just learned.
What if they're
about
allergic
this.
to laxatives?
Well, they die. Okay, that's fine. That's completely different. Okay.
The only way I could see getting around it legally is by saying they just made a sandwich. They didn't know the meat was out of date.
What do you think of this one then from Ghosty and Stereo? Here's the thing though. No one held a gun to the thief's head and said eat the poisoned food. If you made the food with expired products, then you can make the case that you had no idea that you used expired products. As for the laxative one, you could argue that this is how you help your constipation, since you could say you're bad at taking pills. At work though, this argument may fall apart because why would you want to stay on the toilet long? As for who's right and who's wrong, this is a morally grey area. OP said it was consistently happening, which is fucked because they're depriving a person of nutrients/energy because they failed to make/bring themselves food. In OP's scenario, I believe that what their friend did was justified. It's not like they put arsenic in it. Also, how does one not recognize bad food after at most 3 bites? Under different circumstances, OP's friend would not be justified if it had happened once.
Yeah, exactly.
It being repeated, but it's like people. We've got to assume if someone's smart enough to steal food, they're probably smart enough to know meat is off. Like if they eat the meat, that's the own fault.
To steal food?
No, but you know what I mean, right? It's like you can't. We assume like someone's so fucking stupid that they're not going to recognize meat. But it's, if you're gonna steal food, you should probably be smart enough to know, oh, that meat's a bit off, because you know that what you're doing shit. So you should know that someone might retaliate by poisoning the food. Not poisoning, but booby-trapping it. Like, surely we shouldn't be treating everyone as if they're fucking, like, 5. So if they eat obviously rotten meat, it's on nobody else but themselves for eating the obviously rotten meat.
Yeah, and I'd say a lot of it comes down to the person stealing, because they don't know what's in that sandwich. They didn't make it.
But here's the thing. Somewhere in this story, it got confused, and it's actually not a sandwich originally. It's a burrito.
Which makes poison it even more justified.
Joe Thompson 5314 says, many good points. Yeah, I guess looking into it, my friend may have gone a bit too far with the spoiled meat. Also, somehow it changed to being a sandwich, but it was actually a burrito. Which, I think as far as hiding gone off meat is easier in a burrito. Might have some spicy sauce, a bit of sour cream in there, all sorts of different flavours, and that would.
But if you were making an intentionally poisoned burrito, would you do all the works? Would you add everything like that?
I would at least put some kind of hot sauce in there to try and hide the gone off meat smell and taste. It depends how gone off we're talking. Because if there's like straight up mold, I don't know how you're gonna not pick that up in some way. But
see, in my perspective, the thief is still in the wrong.
They're in the wrong because they did the wrong thing, and that's because they put what on meat. Laxatives is the
I think
answer.
they're both in the wrong. 2 wrongs do not make a right. I repeat, 2 wrongs do not forge into one right.
This is why laxatives make sense. Because first of all, you're not killing them, and you find out who's actually done it. That means you can confront them direct. Yeah, they're going to have some fucking liquid coming out of their bum in huge quantities, but that means you can actually talk to them of why they're stealing your food. And that resolves the situation, because in a lot of scenarios, you don't know who's stealing your food. So you're not going to be able to approach them and be like, why are you stealing my food? Until you know who they are. And you can find that out by seeing them in the toilet for like 2 hours.
Yeah, also, was this a case where like this was the first thing the person did in retaliation? Because I feel like you could write a note or something and say like, I know you're stealing my food, stop. And then if they read that and continue, like if there's an escalation, then it's more understandable. But if it's just straight to, all right, I'm gonna kill this guy.
Yeah, that's immoral, and you're wrong.
That was like that crazy story from in the UK a few weeks ago, whatever, where like a neighbour like killed one of the other neighbours over like a parking spot or something. It's like, bro.
Oh, English people fucking get so angry over parking spots. Yeah, it becomes a death match. Like someone's gonna get hurt. even if you're 1 millimeter over their parking bay.
It's so stupid. Like when people are like getting all antsy in car parks and shit, and like getting all angry at each other. It's like one park, and someone will like go the wrong way just to sneak in before someone else, and then start like a whole fucking brawl.
Yeah, it's like a 1 minute inconvenience.
And actually, James, the original poster agreed with you in your laxative stance. Actually, I personally like James's laxatives idea a lot more. The thought of the lunch thief uncontrollably pooping himself, I feel, is a lot funnier than him getting sick, and there's a smaller chance of him dying. Yeah, as far as humour's concerned, I agree.
No, laxatives are the safe solution to every problem you have.
Every problem?
Yeah. What problems could not be resolved by having laxatives?
Have you ever taken laxatives?
No.
There are some things where, like, if you eat too much of it, it creates a laxative effect, like those weird sugar-free, like, Haribo things.
Yeah.
But, like, a fine amount in a burrito is fine. Like, that's just going to make you shit yourself.
There's lots of Chipotle in there.
Yeah, you might be doing it anyway.
Yeah. Right. Let's do some topics. I think it's going to be asked, or was going to be asked in the questions section towards the end, but I want to start with Elden Ring. That was finally here.
Eldon Wong.
Jim's hyped for it. You've seen the review scores and everything, I suppose. You haven't, as of now, started it yet, have you?
I haven't had the chance to get to it yet. And I'm kind of expecting it not to run.
Yeah, because you'll be playing it on PC.
How old is my PC now? 5 years? If not more?
Was that the last time you upgraded it? I thought you upgraded a part of it.
Yours is newer than mine.
James upgraded the graphics card on his.
Yours, I think, if I went and downloaded it now, I'm certain I'd probably be able to play it fine. And you've got a better PC than me. Mine's much older and much more abused. You'll be able to run it fine.
The thing is, I can't really get higher than like 60 FPS on Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro. So I'm just gonna have to try it out.
It's been kind of an interesting like reaction, because it's getting like wide critical acclaim. Obviously, it's got like a 97, I think, and everyone's loving it. But it does appear to be having some technical problems, like saying, like, don't play it on the PS5 version, so load up the PS4 one for a more consistent locked 60. It's quite unusual. But do you think it just kind of highlights the weird like disconnect with the whole like review like system? Because it's been a thing like I've been noticing for like years, where like all these big IGNs, your Kotakus, whatever. I don't even know if Kotaku even does game reviews anymore. It's been so long since
I'm pretty sure they went bankrupt.
But yeah,
the whole like
I get like Kotaku, Polygon, you know, all those types like all mixed up. But the point being, because that was the thing too, as this discussion was started, where like a lot of the reviews mentioned they hadn't like fully finished the game, or they only had a week to play it, and it's a huge game. It's like 80 hours easily or something.
That's like standard from what I understand.
But it's like,
that's like a good player.
That way of reviewing games doesn't seem to like make sense with certain products if you can't get them early, because then you're making these reviews that make like in a few months, once like the actual like gamers who like go deep into this shit, once those videos start coming out, like actual in-depth like takes or whatever, it makes those original drop reviews like pointless. Like they're rushed in like a week. That you can't develop the same like depth of reviewer opinion.
I'd say though, you can say if a game is good from 60 hours, you know, and that seems to be like the minimum for a review, like the amount of time they've put into Elden Ring. And like I trust that they're not being dishonest. They've just played the game for 60 hours. 60 hours is a lot of time. You know if a game is good by 60 hours. It doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
And like I have opinions on games like I really like, and I will probably never finish them.
Mm-hmm.
Because like with a game, to me that's totally fine. Because you have the engagement with it. You enjoy that time with it, and then you can stop. It's different from like a book or a movie where you sort of need to see the story through its end.
What if it's like your job though? If you're like being paid to be a game reviewer,
yeah,
I think.
But as long as it's prefaced with like I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I agree with that. You got to be like upfront with like how much time you spent on it, like what platforms you're playing it on, all this.
Yeah, and I think if you play it for that amount of time and then say in the review, I'm gonna play it more. That's like criticism towards it. So.
But do you agree with this observation where like a lot of the time it feels like these kind of rushed out journalist reviews they're like so like surface level compared to
it's a different type of content though. Because like
that's what I mean though. It seems kind of like old and outdated and just like the magazine way of doing shit. Because games they're different. It's like it doesn't really work with that like magazine, like it's like a movie or like review. You know, you can get through a movie real quick. And even like with the early magazine gaming era shit, games were different then. You didn't have online services and like
they didn't change.
If a game launched like Elden Ring and had like problems like that, it would just have been like fucked. Like like in those early like in that early era, like the Wii era, there was that Nintendo game that was released that had like a fucked bug or whatever, and Nintendo had no way to patch it. So they had to like take your like Wii's like memory card or whatever. You could send it to them and they would patch it themselves. Like it's weird, man. Just the interactive nature of it makes it so much more complicated and like
it's much harder to just say if a game is good. I reckon than other mediums.
I just do feel like that disconnect is growing and growing, especially because like how do you even review like live service games like that, you know?
Like Destiny and stuff, you have to just review it on like a rotor.
It's wacky,
which makes it even harder to get into.
Well, seeing as you mentioned Destiny, I've been playing a bit of the Witch Queen. I'll keep my thoughts light though. It's pretty good. The live service problem of the FOMO, feeling the need to like stay on top of all the like seasons and the little story drips that have unfolded over the seasons. It's not really the easiest, like, and it's always been a Destiny problem already, like the like staying on top of it, like what the fuck is going on, like with the systems and everything. But now there's this kind of like building plot and all these characters that have been doing things, but it's like, man, so I got to do like research now on top of like the story doesn't seem to work really on a vacuum, but you at the same time you can't really critique it for that because they have been like teasing and like building this like villain up for like a long ass time. I remember in Destiny 1 them saying Savathun all the time, and I haven't finished it yet, so I've heard there's like reveals and stuff that happens. And last night I finished a level and it was like the first time I think ever in like a Destiny like story where I was like, I actually kind of want to see what's going to happen next, because normally like the story would get to that point but it would be the final mission and the expansion would be over. And it's like, oh, so you're like you're wrapping up on the hook. That like makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly a limitation of just like the design. But yeah, I'll get into it deeper. It's another point. But
would you say it's a good jumping in point?
That's the thing. Honestly, no. For a couple of different reasons. Pricing structure and the pricing of everything is fucked. It's awful, and I think it really is bad in Destiny. It's like super confusing and annoying and difficult to get into, and you're just bombarded with so much shit. And this thing of like, they've added into the map quite a useful feature actually that does help you kind of stay on top with the story. They've added this kind of like timeline with like an interactive timeline. You can hover the mouse over and like read what happened in each season and shit. So I guess I need to do that to properly catch up. But it's like not the most exciting way. I don't know why if they want to do this transmedia shit, if they could lean more into the. Why can you not have like little like short films being made and stuff that you can like watch in the game or something?
Dude, Apex.
Yeah,
Apex
that kind of thing.
thing.
I don't see why not, because another thing I liked about it was that they were actually like explaining like Hive lore like in the game, like what they are and shit. And it's like, oh, this is pretty like this is what I was expecting from the original vanilla, to be honest. But at least we're getting something now. And the glaive's really fun. And in other news, a little bit of Horizon Forbidden West I've been tinkering with. Oh, yeah,
that's really quite based on that.
Can't believe I didn't twig that the main character is called Aloy.
Yeah, Aloy.
Just straight up Aloy.
Aloy.
Still one of the worst names ever of a protagonist, maybe. Yes, right. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. I heard all good shit about the first game, and I've heard great stuff about the second again, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but I'm just not interested in getting into Horizon.
I'm like right down the middle, where I like really love half of the game, but really dislike the other half. The moment to moment like combat and the way everything's animated and the visuals of it, and like chipping parts off of these machines and how all the like particle effects and pieces flying everywhere and the sound and shit, that is awesome. And the combat and everything feels really good, but I just don't really care about the world very much. I don't. It's like almost too much, like as explained. It's always like talking and shit and trying to like give context to something that's kind of inherently stupid.
Yeah, it does seem to sort of take itself too seriously.
Yeah, for how like ridiculous the like robot dinosaur thing is. I feel like that works better with like a Blood Dragon kind of tone, where it's like just silly. You don't feel the need to like go into the lore. I might be alone on this, because I know people really like that first game especially, but I didn't love the story of that first game either. I'd forgotten that I actually got all the way through it, but then like starting the second one was like, oh yeah, I actually remember doing a bunch of this shit. It was just like really forgettable. And not that interesting, but gameplay carries it. It's kind of what we were saying earlier. It's like more complex than just like I'll happily still finish the game, but I'm not being driven by the story, unlike a lot of different games that I would be more so. Anything else? You're tinkering with something, aren't you, James?
I am. Warhammer 3 came out a few weeks ago. Really good. Just a good expansion of Warhammer 2. I love the whole chaos gods which the whole game is basically based around loads of like variety of units and just cool visuals. And it's just a really fun game, and it's worth playing. It's on Game Pass, so I guess if you like strategy, it's definitely one to just pick up and see how you feel, because it's really good. And then we've got Gran Turismo coming out in like a week's time. Gran Turismo 7. It's just built for me, so I'm really hyped for that.
It actually looks insane, Gran Turismo.
The graphics, they've like somehow taken it beyond of like what Horizon and Forza's achieved. It looks insane.
Yeah, I read an article about this AI thing you're telling me about. It seems very interesting.
And apparently it's like the AI, it's like based around to like a level of real racing drivers, where if you're racing against the hardest AI, it's like you've got to be fucking good, because you've got to, because you're racing against such a difficult AI with like driving, like real racing drivers based off and whatnot.
Yeah, because Horizon sort of cheats where it just makes a car faster.
Yeah. But I don't think they're doing that with Gran Turismo at all, where they've actually rebuilt the way like AI works. Like imagine when the Xbox One launched, we had Forza doing that whole drivatar thing. It was like basing it off your data, but all that was sticking a name above the AIs they've had in Forza 1. So it never changed, but Gran Turismo seemed to be progressing that and actually remaking the whole AI system. which means it could be really interesting because I've played racing games for so long. It's like none of it's difficult. It's just like anything, because it's like in Forza you can do the hardest thing, like unbeatable or whatever, and there'll be a car that can't do 200 mile an hour that's doing 220. The car physically can't do that, but the AI is just making it fucking fly. But Gran Turismo is not doing that, which is what I want on a challenge. And it just seems to be challenge. Like, it seems to be they're going for that whole really anal kind of the smallest things matter. The way you customize your car, the way you...
It's more like simmy as opposed to arcadey, right?
Yeah. And it just seems to be the perfect thing for my mind, because I like putting spoilers, I like adjusting the little canards on the side. It's like the most in-depth, highly detailed shit that I love as a car guy. So the game's going for that, so I'm going to love it. And there'll probably be a video on it, because I love to talk about it. Yeah, that's coming out.
Anything else to throw out there before the mid-break?
I ain't done shit.
Ain't done shit but shit. See you after these shits. Life can be a dick sometimes, so get your dick from out your hand. And don't be a dick, wear a dick. Dick the Head t-shirts available now. Check the description below. The shit theory is just continuing to deliver.
The shit theory, is that an actual thing?
Oh, do you need to shit right now?
I've needed to shit for the last hour.
Oh, your idea that
my theory
needing to shit makes the cast better.
Yeah,
because I've needed to piss the last hour, and I think it makes it worse. I can't.
No, I would agree with that.
Piss.
Needing to piss does make it worse. But
so
poop is different.
No. Do you ever get to a point where you've ignored needing to shit, then it, like hour or two later it comes back and it's like
unbelievably
your
ass bleeding?
No.
Just holding
when
shit.
When you're sort of touching cloth sort of territory.
I guess so, because I was doing something like a few weeks ago, and it's like the first time I properly noticed this, because I was out doing something in my car, and if I'm doing stuff in my own overalls, I'm not going to think to shit, because it's just a hassle to take it all off. So I think I just kind of held the barriers like Helm's Deep. I was holding against the swarm, and then it got to 2 hours later, and it was like the desire to shit hit me instantly, and it was like, I ain't holding this anymore. Yeah. And then I shit, and it's like the most fucking furious shit I've ever had, because I've held it.
Furious.
Because once you've held it up to a point, you forget you're holding it, because your body's just doing its thing. So your mind's not thinking you need to shit, but it does.
So you're telling me your dungarees don't have a butt flap for pooping?
Yeah, my dungarees.
Use new dungarees, man.
James has dungarees?
No, I don't have dungarees.
I was thinking, why do farts need to be released?
Because if
same
you
reason
don't,
burps need to be released, bro.
No, I think it's different.
No, but there's a valve. An asshole's just open,
Surely it should leak out on its own.
Yeah, it should just if you hold because people fart without knowing all the time.
Yeah,
minor bits of gas. But a big fart, you get that feeling where it's it's coming. Oh shit, I'm in a quiet room. Just hold it, and then you feel it just go back up.
No, do you not feel it leak out?
Well, no, because there's the chance that if it requires that first little push, and that can be audible.
You just got to spread them cheeks and
this
just
is
let
a
it
you problem, because my
air.
farts aren't noisy.
Aren't noisy?
Yeah, I don't have like really loud farts.
No,
You
don't.
do.
I think it's because you've got a really hairy ass.
Why do I have a hairy ass?
Masks the sound.
No, because the hair wouldn't change.
It's no, it does.
It's like noise cancellation. It's like memory foam.
Yeah.
Like shit.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Why are you saying I've got a hairy ass though?
Well, because you're a hairy guy. I'm just assuming.
No, my boot hem is perfectly smooth.
You get it waxed.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Gotta be prepared.
Be prepared. Right, let's do some questions from the JAR community. Head over to the subreddit where there's a suggestion thread where you can ask us whatever you feel like.
And obviously, being the #1 shit podcast, we love questions about shit.
The more the merrier.
Hillary is going to start us off. What's something that you regret losing or throwing away? On the contrary, anything you regret buying or being given? Don't just giggle to yourself.
Your flashlight.
I didn't regret that. I'm not ashamed.
You're not ashamed of what? Having one? Or
No, that's
throwing
one of
it
your
away?
regrets, throwing it away.
Yeah.
No, I don't regret throwing it away. I don't really care. I just feel sorry for the garbage man who had to fucking see that in the bin bag.
No, he might
Sorry.
have taken it home for himself.
Oh, it's a saku dry.
I knew this job would pay off.
Here's Suck you dry. Listen, what a great name for a product. It's fucking all so sick.
I know, I just like the container because it's just like, that's cool.
Did you laugh when you first opened?
Yes, I fucking screamed, laughed.
Doesn't it have like vampire teeth?
Yeah, that was the whole gimmick of it. I'm not ashamed.
Should be the Baitu dry.
Mm.
No, because vampires suck your blood, so it's sucking you dry.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I guess.
Sucking your blood cock.
I guess I
Right, yeah.
associate vampires more with biting, but I guess they do suck.
Well, yeah, they bite you and then suck your blood, but
Yeah,
biting's
yeah,
obviously the first part.
Mm-hmm.
No, they suck more than they bite.
Well, you
What's
you
the
have
famous
to, you-
quote?
Suck.
I want to suck your blood.
I
Right?
want to suck you dry. I actually have a system to prevent this from happening to me. Not the suck you dry thing, but the
I've got a system to prevent being sucked dry.
where anything that I think I'm gonna throw away, I'll put in like a bag and then put in the garage, and then if like 2 months later it's still out there and I haven't needed it, it's like, oh, getting rid.
That is it's like a
That's smart.
it's quarantine.
It's like an airlock.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because my logic's like, if I didn't need it in those 2 months, I'm not gonna need it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
2 months is a good period because it's like
What
not.
if it's like a radiator and you're like, well, it's been summer for 2 months.
No, I keep my one fan and my one radiator and alternate them throughout the weather systems.
See, I'm quite utilitarian in that I never get rid of things it's either I own things I use all the time or I only own things that I have sentimental value for and I think are cool. Like I have a newspaper from a Japanese car mag and it's just loads of cars for sale and I got it like 5 years ago and it's just a piece of paper and I love it. It's like this weird sentimental thing.
Do you have anything like that that you've like lost or thrown away and regret?
No, I don't really throw anything away.
My chain.
My
My little chain I had as a kid. I love that thing.
Yeah, it's weird you mentioned that because there was like a different question asking about that chain.
Really?
Yeah.
When did I mention the chain?
You mentioned the chain before because I didn't know what you were
I never
referring
talk
to.
about the chain.
You have.
Fruscanti Fucker says, do a roleplay where James gives Jim his £50. Then Punished Eric replied to it saying, very unrealistic roleplay. Ooh.
Yes, let's roll.
No, because I'm not going to not pay you. I can just buy you a meal.
What, a 50 quid meal? Where are we going?
Million Carters, obviously. Or do you want a bit more posher than that? Do you want a bit more fancy? Do you want me to wine and dine?
Oh,
They
yeah, I wanna
call
be
that
winded
moving the
down.
goalpost, don't they? Eh?
Well, if James is getting
yeah.
£50 no matter what, it doesn't matter.
No, but that's not getting £50. That's like getting a voucher. That's like saying, here's money, but you have to spend it where I'm telling you to spend it. Is
Yeah,
a voucher worse than...
No, not if
Money.
No, because if someone, say, gets a My Protein voucher, I like that because I go to buy from there anyway.
Yeah, but if you were given money, you could be like, oh, I actually like really need to buy fuel and I'm running a bit low on cash.
Really?
No, I think it depends on like what. If I say to like a gift, whatever, I'll either say give me money or like I want to buy some X eventually, so buy me a gift voucher for X because I want to buy that. So I'm making it clear to them that either works because I want both. I'm not just assuming that if they get me an Amazon voucher, I'm just gonna, that's a bit of a pain because I might not want anything at the time from there. So I make it clear that I've got intentions to buy from X or Y place. That's what I do, but that's completely irrelevant to your question. So I'd say,
Vouchers are Microsoft points, which suck.
Which coincidentally, we're introducing a new feature on the channel called Jar Points. We have products that are available for 200 points, but you can only buy points in packs of either 50 or 200.
And if you buy 7,000 points in one go, we'll give you a free Busty Sandy NFT. You know, the amount, every time I go on Facebook, I'm being introduced to a new like NFT, and like they're all focused around animals. The levels they're going to now, fucking hell.
What have you seen? Any standouts that outdo Pup Filthy?
Yeah, no, there's Punk Angels. That's one of them.
Pup Clean.
Pup Clean's come out.
I'd have to check, but there is some fucking really ridiculous ones I've seen, because it's like the art's getting worse, and they always advertise it through Keek, #1 NFT research tool, and it's like the most 3D. It's like 3D versions of the NFTs that already exist.
Oh yeah, I see a Bored Ape there.
Like it, and that the only way they're getting people in is by saying, "Oh, this is Ronaldo's invested in this, Messi's vested in it, Logan Paul is invested in it." Yeah, because that's just
when the Elon Musk brain chips come out. It'll be the same thing.
Yeah, Apocalyptic Apes is one of them.
The brain chips might have some utility though. Like I'll be able to light that candle with my brain.
Really? I always envisioned it would be more just like having a Halo HUD with your energy shield.
What use would that be?
Because then you could have like a marker, like just telling you where to go. You know?
That would be good.
Yeah. Like if you're driving, there's just like a marker you follow.
No, that would be awful.
What about if you can like have a mind palace? So you can be like, okay, drive me to Scotland, body. I'm gonna go play Apex in the mind palace.
That's no.
Yeah, you could have like screens that your brain is like projecting that aren't actually there. You're like playing Apex on one of your like brain screens. You got Facebook open in the metaverse on one of the other screens.
Yeah, you're chatting to your grandma in the metaverse.
You're playing Apex with your grandma and your uncle.
Yeah, while FaceTiming in the metaverse and also getting married in Final Fantasy 14.
It'll be Final Fantasy fucking 14 too by then.
Oh.
I'm not to sound like a boomer or stuck in the past. I do not want it.
You don't what?
I don't want any of these.
Tell me you don't want a brain chip installed into your brain.
No.
What are you psycho?
The government are going to control us, Alex. They're funded by the government. This is all a plan.
It's like it's what Plankton does in the SpongeBob movie. It's like the villains plan.
No, that's a bucket.
Same thing.
It's a chum bucket on their heads. That's totally different.
Just replace chum bucket with AI chip going in brain.
We're already being brainwashed by TikTok and...
No, but imagine... You have to pick up your phone to look at TikToks. Imagine just like being able to blink your right eye and then the funniest TikTok just appears.
You could control people really easily.
No, people will control themselves. You'd never need to entertain... Like, your 2-year-old's pissing you off. Brain chip him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
TikToks. Keep him busy.
TikToks.
Yeah,
get him started on Apex early.
Yeah.
Breed a gamer champion.
Yeah, breed a
when babies are like in their cot, you can stream Twitch streams so they can watch like the best players.
You're making them
become so politically knowledgeable.
Yeah, they just watch Twitch debates.
Yeah,
you just make them neurotic.
What would their first word be?
Hassan.
It would be like,
I'm a champagne socialist.
What is a champagne socialist? Break it down for me.
It's just a fake socialist. Someone who doesn't believe in it. I believe in it, but lives a life that's given to them by capitalism.
Yeah, but you have to live a life given to you by capitalism when you live in capitalism.
No, I don't.
You buy things?
I do not live in a mansion and accept money from people poorer than me when I'm a millionaire.
Yeah, but you would if you could.
No, but I don't.
No, you would.
I wouldn't be I wouldn't be a millionaire because I'd have all of my money in whims. So therefore I wouldn't be a champagne socialist. I'll share my wills with people. That makes me a true socialist. Do you want some wheels for your car? I can hook you up.
No, I'm good.
Fuck you, communist cunt.
Jonathan Toothhouse has one. One I've been interested in I put out a few weeks ago a call for aid when I was talking about Sing 2 and this weird motion blur shit. There's more. On last week's cast, the boys mentioned the weird amount of motion blur in Sing 2, and I have some thoughts as to why this is probably the case as someone who works in the animation industry. I watched the trailer footage at 0.25 times speed, and I can tell that the frames are too distinct to be created through frame interpolation, since the technology just isn't there yet for animation. Creating frames is also fairly automated in 3D animation regardless, meaning that there's no real need for them to add frames this way, so all the motion blur in the film is added deliberately. It's not unusual for 3D animation to have motion blur added for realism, because real-life cameras and human eyes are rarely 100% focused, but I think Illumination definitely goes overboard with the amount they add as a stylistic choice. I've noticed it a lot in their films, and I also think it's exasperated by the way they seemingly render everything with a weird haze/glow, which makes the motion blur effect even stronger when things are moving. The scenes with the wolf girl in the harness are a horrendous example, and they literally gave me a headache when I was playing them back. Thanks for the insight. That makes more sense than the frame interpreting thing, which was what my gut was telling me.
So it's intentional. It's like a stylistic choice.
I guess that makes sense. A weird choice, one I don't like or agree with, and it makes all their movies look like... You know when people, it's like a bit of a trend on some like social medias where they'll take like clips from a movie but like put a million filters over it and like some text and shit. It makes all their films look like that.
An edit.
Like a fan edit. But it's like the main movie looks that way.
A first trap.
Punished Eric says, "What is up, gamers? I have a story for you today. One night when I was stroking my Melman and I got rather curious, I sought out the legendary video, Lucy Ties an Asian Queen. Upon finding the video, I scrolled down to the comments to find the top comment reading, I squirt diarrhea out of my golden pussy. Upon reading said comment, I couldn't stop laughing and ended up not masturbating. Thanks, Jar. I now squirt diarrhea out of my golden pussy. Game on."
No, we're bullying this Jarling. We're fucking bullying them.
Why, but he did what you're always saying. He defeated the demon through comedy.
He searched for it. That's succumbing to the demon. That's succumbing, Alex.
Himself out of it. He like nearly
through humor. That's not good enough.
What's your problem with it being through humor? Humor's healing.
Failed before he even begun.
Laughter is the best medicine.
Yes, it is.
Even for porn addiction.
Yeah.
No, I found Ooh.
James House says, "Best and worst takeaways you've had. Best cuisines."
So the best takeaway I've had is
cock.
We've yet to try cock. I really do want to have a lovely bit of cock.
I'm actually really interested in that.
Yeah, I'm interested.
It looks awesome.
We could go now. Tonight?
It's closed on Sundays.
Oh, let's go.
It's closed on Sundays, like...
Oh.
Yeah.
James might...
I guess we'll have to go... I guess, Wednesday has to be cock day.
Wednesday cock day?
It's hump day, can't love a bit of cock on hump day. Worst takeaways I've had is just any kebab place that sells pizza. That's like the worst takeaway you can get.
Yeah, but you love it. You always get it.
I don't anymore because like the last one I've got, it just tasted so fucking bad. I convinced myself not to get them anymore.
Do you think James would have liked that takeaway pizza we got in London?
Yeah, I probably would have fucking loved it. But I wasn't invited to London, so best not talk about
Roosevelt. You didn't give a fuck about Roosevelt?
No, you just didn't ask me at that time, did you? Oh, James is a little immature.
I didn't even see Roosevelt.
Jim was house sitting.
Yeah, I was house sitting in London.
Oh, James is a little immature baby who's a bitch. Why didn't we not invite him?
The immature babies are the ones going to listen to Roosevelt.
Yeah, true.
No offense,
he's
Roosevelt.
German, though,
Yeah, and I didn't want it.
Well,
German cuisine, sausages?
Sausages, sure. Burgers, good. Bad cuisines.
I'm going to say the worst kind of cuisine for me personally, because there's different levels of food in general. There's when you're eating it, you can have an amazing time, but then hour later, half hour later, there is always an after effect of the food of takeaway, and the worst kind is kebabs. Having like a sandwich kebab, sloppy chips, mayo, chicken, whatever. That half hour after You don't even want to be alive. It's like the worst kind of like feeling.
See, I get that. I don't know if this is a controversial one from like fish and chips.
No, that's the worst. I haven't had fish and chips in so long, I forgot how terrible you feel afterwards.
No, I will preface, being in the middle of the country, our fish and chips are going to be shit.
Yes.
A good, like, nice, fresh fish and chips.
And it's fluffy.
Good. But even in saying that, I think I'll always prefer, like, a non-battered piece of fish over the batter.
Depends on the fish. I find cod way too bland to not have batter.
Yeah, if it's cod. If it's Call of Duty, then yeah, slap some batter on there.
Yeah, but here it's like the takeaway fish places we have are not good. They're sloppy.
No, there's an okay one in town.
I would.
It's definitely not my go-to though.
No, I haven't had a fish and chips in. I like their chips. The way they do chips is nice. Buy some chips.
But I think that might be why you feel so bad after. It's just like the fucking salt overload.
Yeah. I think a Domino's pizza never gives me bad after feelings, but it's like average while eating it, like good when afterwards. But that doesn't mean I want to eat it. And I found that like a Chinese, for me, with Chinese you just have to stop. There's a point you don't want to cross the line. So as long as you don't cross the line, you will be fine after, and it will be.
I feel that way about curry. It's easy to overeat curry.
I disagree with the Chinese one because I find you have to push it past the point where you're like initially quite uncomfortable. But if you don't push to that point, you're going to be hungry again soon.
Mm-hmm.
No, I disagree. I've never been hungry after KFC.
What?
Chinese. I've never been hungry after a Chinese. Even when I eat to excess or barely eat at all, I just feel, because it's like rice and that's like better for you than, let's say, like a pizza. So I don't feel as bad. But curry, that in terms of enjoyment while eating, curry is number one, without a doubt. Curry just tastes the best, and it's the best to experience.
So for you, best cuisine, Indian?
Yeah, I had an Indian on Friday, and it was just fucking good. Loved it.
I
like sushi.
I've not had a sushi takeaway.
I like sushi. My favourite is probably burger.
Burgers are reliable.
Sandwich.
If I'm getting a takeaway, burgers are the one I'm not gonna buy. Like a burger is not takeaway. It's not worthy enough to be a takeaway. And the one good burger place.
You love burgers. You get burgers every damn day. What are you talking about?
The best takeaway burger we had here is not delivering to your house specifically. Well, it delivers to mine, and that's great because I'm never going to order from them. So I'm just not a big burger boy, to be perfectly honest. But
there's no such thing as a bad cuisine, though.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
There's bad food. You can like make a bad version of a cuisine. But
yeah, like in my mind right now, I can picture like a traditional English roast dinner. Like the shittest one you can imagine.
From a Toby Carvery.
Yeah, like an actual shit. But then on the other end of the spectrum, fucking succulent meat with some perfectly done fucking glistening potatoes, some parsnips and fucking gravy, bit of broccoli or whatever.
Stuffing.
Some stuff.
Stuffing.
What do you mean?
I do not like stuffing.
It's one of the best things in a roast. What are you talking about?
It's the best thing.
No, the best thing in the roast is the veggies and the potato.
Bullshit.
Those lovely potatoes, they make me...
Aunt Bessie's.
Taters.
Yeah, Aunt Bessie's taters make me act up.
Okay. Oh, here we are. From Sven. Did you guys have any favourite stuffed animals / toys as a toddler that you take with you everywhere? I remember Jim talking about a chain he had. And then they just put Apex Predator.
As in Ape X?
Ape-X, yeah.
Cool. I also had quackers. I liked...
oh, yeah. We actually
little...
have one of those ducks around here somewhere.
No, it's not
It's not quackers, but there was another one you had.
Yeah, I had all sorts of ducks. But I had 2 quackers. They were little yellow ducks, and one of them had a tag and one of them didn't. So that's how I differentiated them. But they were both quackers.
Should I go get Teddy Dog?
Oh, you have Teddy Dog?
I have Teddy Dog.
Yeah, go get Teddy Dog. Let's candle burn him.
Yeah.
Teddy dog kebab. James, what was your favourite chain as a child?
You're gonna cringe.
Okay.
I was I couldn't go anywhere without a Hot Wheels car.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would I cringe at that?
Because that's like, oh look, the kids like soft things. It's me. I like fucking Hot Wheels cars.
Oh shit, Teddy dog. That is a treasure there.
Yeah, that is.
I got Teddy Dog. Foreshadowing on Max and Pays.
Why is he called Teddy dog?
I don't know, I was like a child, a baby. This is a teddy
You were
as
such a stupid baby.
It's quite literal, isn't it? It's like, oh, where's your teddy? That's the group word, you know?
What does teddy mean though? Because teddy...
Like, this is a teddy.
Why?
Teddy boy.
I don't actually have one.
So you're telling me what you...
James had cars. James had Hot Wheels.
You had
cars.
I don't remember.
a sheet of metal.
I never remember a teddy specifically, but I just remember that I was one of those kids where it's like, I'll go to the supermarket, buy a Hot Wheels, or go somewhere, bring a Hot Wheels. That was just my thing.
What about like an Action Man or a Bionicle?
I had Action Man Bionicle, but I didn't take them everywhere.
You didn't have like a favourite one that was like, Kapaka, you're coming with me.
No, the one, the teddy I had was a snake. I had a,
I had one of those like
yeah.
IKEA snakes that was like 2 meters long.
I loved it.
Yeah,
And that was my thing, and that's kind of why I love
snake teddies are good.
They're the best, and you could throw them around, and because they've got beads on the end, you can use them as a weapon. You just fucking
yeah, you
smack
find that
it.
out the hard way. Yeah,
yeah.
I had this cool like crocodile teddy from Australia. It's fucking giant.
Yeah.
I think my cousin has that.
Yeah.
Bolton Bear.
Bolton Bear.
Bottom bear. What
Fatty
is bottom
Fatty
bear?
Boom Boom.
That was the same thing, wasn't it?
No, Bolton Bear was the little bear. He's in the pint glass now.
The Charming Bear.
Yes. Yeah, the Charming Bear, and also Fatty Fatty Boom Boom was the bigger bear.
Is that his name? Fatty Fatty Boom Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like something
Yeah,
you'd say and giggle.
No, I do remember Fatty Fatty Boom Boom, but I just hadn't thought about Fatty Fatty Boom Boom for quite a while.
Yeah, it's not a particularly like rotund bear or anything. I just called him that.
Well, you got Bardonna as well.
Bardonna was nobody's...
Nah, there was no affection or fucking childhood memories with that fucking
fear.
I don't even know where our Bardonna's gone.
I think doesn't my dad have it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, don't tell me you've given
He's
it
got
to
it on the shelf, like in the living room.
Can we
You're in trouble, sheep.
tie it to his car?
To the
So it
front.
dangles. No, so it dangles on the floor.
Yeah, if one of us had like a nice big truck, if we had a moto,
I feel like that would be kind of dangerous though, because it's going to have like a battery pack in there, and if that thing comes
battery
flying
acid all over the
off, if it comes flying off on the motorway and like
Yeah,
hits
true.
someone's windscreen.
No, that won't go through windscreen.
James, Bardonna's a dense piece of material.
No, but windscreens are strong.
Bardonna's pretty fucking strong. Can withstand a
Yeah.
firework.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I had a chain, because I was very much into like soft toys and animals.
Surely
and
it was the
shit.
texture and the sound.
Yeah,
It's basically like ASMR.
I think I like the coldness as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it goes with your heart.
Yeah, I like chains though. I like them clinking and going.
Why didn't you wear one then?
I'd quite like to wear chainmail.
Ooh, take it to the extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Summer when you go on a hike.
Yeah, everywhere you go, you just hear this.
Or just like a chainmail vest, you know? Because also I'd be safe.
On the off chance there's just like someone with a bow and arrow about, or like a spear or something.
Yeah, a rogue bolt from a crossbow, you know?
Yeah, a rogue knight who's trying to fucking hunt you down.
Mm-hmm.
No, they see you wearing it and they start wearing it because they know that you're finally the rival
Yeah.
to them.
Well, you know how like body armor, like the military body armor is becoming fashion for whatever reason.
Yeah, tech wear.
Not actual body armor, but it looks like a Kevlar vest or something. because fashion goes in cycles, I'm thinking chainmail's got to be coming back at some point.
Time.
So we need to invest while like people aren't on it. We need to get this chainmail shit going.
When are like powdered wigs gonna come back?
Yeah, and like huge dresses.
We nearly got there. Big booty dresses.
Yeah,
they're just like
Well, then they don't need to get Brazilian ass surgery. Like nobody needs it, and I think both men and women.
Have you ever read the NHS Brazilian butt surgery page?
I've never read it.
When you like Google search Brazilian butt lift, it's like the first result on the UK Google. I went on it and read through it because it's like apparently one of the most dangerous surgeries you can get as far as a
Yeah, because isn't there a lot of like arteries or veins in your butt, and that if you inject like basically plastic, like polystyrene,
you're taking a bunch
foam,
of like fat from like other parts of your body and just like injecting it into your fucking ass.
So that's not how you get a nice bottom. Just because it's big does not mean it's nice.
Like, man,
I'm gonna say
it's so fucking risky for something so like dumb.
But that's the result of the toxic and very dangerous bodily standards and shit.
So true. Hiberti has one here as we wind down the show. Question mainly for James, but others can answer. I've recently started an art project based around cars, which has led me to researching different brands from various time periods. I was wondering what your thoughts are on old-fashioned cars from around the 1930s to 60s era, such as vintage Rolls-Royce or Chevrolet Camaro models.
See, 30s to 60s is like a huge difference because like the technology post World War II and the design of cars was hugely different to like, you know, the mafia like 30s. The look that everyone associates with those cars is, you know, pulling out a suit with a Tommy gun.
Yeah.
Those cars are sick. Like there's one in CALNE, like by the coffee shop we go to, and it's like the coolest thing. Really big, huge wheels, you know, sloping angles, beautiful.
Yeah, they're cool.
They are beautiful cars. And then you got 60s, so it was like, that's rebel. And that's when people were like, yeah, I'm fucking cool, slick hair, bomber jackets. It's all cool. I like kind of cars from every era because they all have their own vibe and they have their own aesthetic. Because it's not just the car, it's like, it represents the time period it's from. So you want to build it to that level and you want to match that aesthetic. You want to go all in. But car design is crazy. We're just in the worst kind of time for car design.
Since the 80s, car design has been on a...
Because it's like in Europe, it's like post like 2000. It's all about making it round and look futuristic. But then like in Japan, they're still selling cars like mine, which is just box on wheels, and that's cool.
But their version of making it futuristic weirdly dates it more.
Yeah, way more.
Yeah.
So now you have all these like those early 2000s futuristic cars that are like the fucking ugliest.
Yeah.
Just repulsive fucking...
Car design at the moment is not good. It's like BMW is an example because it's just make grille big. It's like the whole front end of the car is just a grille and it doesn't look appeasing. Nobody's going to look at that in 20 years and be like, that's gorgeous, that's beautiful. Like you do with the older cars from the 60s, 70s. That you can't appreciate modern car design because it's not designed to be beautiful. It's designed to be completely utilitarian and be safe. Nah, make cars dangerous and good looking.
Get rid of seatbelts. Get rid of fucking...
Yeah. Get rid of all of it. Pop-up headlights with spikes on.
If you had to choose between the 30s, 40s, 50s and 60s era, then which...
60s.
You put 60s at the top.
American muscle cars. I know I'm not a big fan of America or American cars, but American muscle cars are fucking sick. If we could buy them, me and Jamie would both drive American muscle cars.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. If I'm popped up tomorrow in good condition, I had the money, I'd be like, yep. Because everyone thinks you're fucking cool. Nobody looks at it and it's just like, everyone's like, fuck.
Let's end on this one then. From the real Ron. Hello, Mingers. A few years ago, I was in the UK and ordered myself an English breakfast. When they brought it out, to my shock and horror, they asked if I wanted any spices like salt or pepper. Salted beans weren't the default. So here's my question. Do you salt your beans, gamer?
No.
No, if you look at the contents of the salt contents in a can of beans already, that shit's already high.
No, that's the thing. If it's like a pre-packaged thing, don't add salt.
Yeah. It annoys me because my parents are like, oh, they put salt and pepper on everything.
I put pepper on everything, but
I'll put pepper
salt.
on beans.
Yeah, pepper makes sense, but salt. My parents add salt to everything. And if it's been cooked, when you're making a meal, you add salt when you're making something because it needs a salt. So when you've made it and then you're just like the whole plate afterwards, you're just ruining that. And the thing that annoys me is when people get beans and then, you've got the little puddle and the whatever and the sauce and they get ketchup and like onto the sauce.
It's already tomato sauce.
Yeah, it bothers me because it's like bean sauce is fucking lovely. As there's a quote of me saying they should sell bean sauce by itself because I fucking love bean sauce. But adding tomato sauce to bean sauce, no, we're going in. People who add tomato ketchup to food freak me out. It's like you've just made a grape curry. And then you're adding fucking sauce. Tomato
ketchup. People really have ketchup with curry?
Or you've just made a lasagna.
Fucked.
Add ketchup. Bolognese, add ketchup. Carbonara, add ketchup. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You've just made a meal and you're fucking ruining it with bloody ketchup.
What's your opinion with pizza ketchup?
Pizza ketchup's the only one I draw the line because I've had a lot of shit pizzas. As you said, I used to like shit pizzas. And the iconic part of a shit pizza is the fact that it's barely got any tomato sauce in the pizza.
Right.
So you need the ketchup to make the pizza edible. That's the only point when it becomes acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're adding ketchup to anything else...
Salt?
I salt pasta.
I salt nothing.
Yeah. The water of the pasta or like the water of the rice or whatever. When you're...
Yeah. I salt like chips.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's one. That's what I can't.
Sprinkling of salt. But it's more it's not good for you to fucking ingest a ton of fucking salt all the time, obviously.
No.
So that's what it's more a health thing for me because obviously salt is damn delicious. Of course, if there were no negative health effects of smothering shit with salt, then I'd do it more. But don't want that high sodium,
I don't ever salt anything.
I will salt a saucy thing because you got to like do the taste testing and like a bit of salt, bit of pepper. Oh, too much pepper. Add a bit more salt. Oh, too salty. Add a bit more pepper. Oh, that's a bit peppery. Add a bit more salt.
Fucked.
And you just sort of keep going until
it's just a salty, peppery mix.
Yeah,
that's all you can taste.
Yeah, and you've emptied the pepper grinder and the salt shaker.
If it's, I only use it if I'm making it. If I've just made something and it's on the plate, nothing's going.
Yeah, if you make something from scratch, like salt and pepper, add it to your heart's desire, specifically salt. But if it's like a pre-made thing, don't add salt.
Like a can of beans.
Yeah, or a can of sauce or anything like that.
Yeah, because they often
jar.
do have high salt content.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as
you need to look at that shit because you shouldn't be adding salt to salty shit.
Unless I don't know what like Americans' equivalent of baked beans are like. Do you think they're more sugary, more?
Everything in America is worse. Like because of the unregulated market, like they
got some crazy chemicals, don't they?
Yeah, so everything. If there's a food in England, and we're like, oh, wonder what it is in America, just times every content by 10, and you've kind of got the baseline of what food is there.
Yeah, they got like sugar bread and shit or whatever.
Yeah, sugar and bread. I fucking love bread. Travesty.
Have you ever had the reduced sugar beans?
Yeah, and I've also tried reduced sugar ketchup.
I don't like reduced sugar beans. If I have a can of reduced sugar beans, I'll add sugar.
Really?
That's
I'll
fucked up.
Like half a teaspoon of sugar and stir it in.
Okay. You ever put like curry powder in beans?
Yeah.
Some good shit right there.
See, that's what I should do when I make the good old pasta and beans. It's like experiment with the beans, but
yeah, just spice the beans up a bit.
That takes time. And when you are built for absolute efficiency, the bean and micro pasta in hob is like that's it. That's efficient.
Curry powder's not on the grind set list.
No.
Coffee powder.
Yeah, coffee powder. I would smash some coffee powder and baked beans.
Some coffeed beans with added salt.
That's like a cool sort of like cafe in London. Coffee beans.
I love like chocolate powder covered coffee beans. Just eating coffee beans is so damn good. Thank you for watching this episode of the Media Podcast. Do you salt your beans? Do you pepper your beans?
Do you salt your mice beef?
Your beans.
Let us know in the comments below. Yeah.
Why? Toilet paper is absorptive, so
You don't always get every last bit of the toilet paper though. That's why Alex uses the wipes and I just keep fucking doing it until there's
What do you mean?
blood.
There's only one way to solve this. We get 3 toilets, 3 cameras, and we just fucking
we wipe each other's ass.
No, Henry VIII style.
you just fucking destroy my ass.
It doesn't hurt
Everyone's just
though.
bleeding assholes.
Stop, no.
No, but the thing is, it's like with my bloody bum, when I get stressed, I don't even have to push and my bum is bleeding. My stress, like, bodily...
Straining too much?
No, it's not, I'm not even straining. If I get stressed, I will just bleed out my bum hole. That's just one weird thing about me.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yes, if it's like, oh, I'm stressed, it's like, oh...
Have you ever had like bloody underwear?
No. So when you wipe, if I get stressed, I'll wipe, and that's when blood comes up. This is the reason why I originally had a prostate exam with the doctor, because of the blood, because of the stress, and I was okay.
So it shouldn't be blood cock, it should be blood asshole.
Blood butt.
Blood butt, yeah. Blood butt works.
I need to have suppositories every night for the rest of my life.
Surely it doesn't need a full suppository. Like, you can just put a little bit of cream or something that'll
Cream,
soothe
just cream up my lube it up every night.
What was the quote? Was it crusty then cream?
Crusty then cream, yeah.
I like James talking about assholes. He's like really knowledgeable.
Yeah.
James's like 2 specialties are cars and assholes.